Hi, welcome to Ikate's Crossing. Okay, so don't forget, if you want to book a reading through with me, don't forget to check out my Ko-Fi with the links down below if you're on YouTube, of course. So anyway, let's begin with Seasons of the Witch. Okay, so I've been working with it a little bit, sort of getting to know the cards a little bit, but I really haven't dived deep. Now, the reason why I'm doing the Winter Tarot now, I know in the Northern Hemisphere it is summer, but we're in the Southern Hemisphere, so of course it's winter. So if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're going through those cold, wintry days. And so I sort of really wanted to dive into this, and I haven't done a proper job of it. As I sort of finished the Light and the Dark Tarot and Oracle deck that I was doing, I gave it a bit of a break and just sort of been shuffling cards and working through them, and I thought, well, I really want to dive into it while it's still winter before it gets into the spring, until it gets into spring. So let's have a look at Seasons of the Witch. Now, I've got all the Oracle decks, and I have got the Autumn Tarot as well, which I haven't dived into yet, which I will do. But let's have a look at this this winter deck. Now, I'm not going to go into reading all the whole book or anything like that, but I do want to talk about a couple of little things in here. Like, these books are great. There's so much in them. The Spirit of Winter. So let's do that first. The Spirit of Winter. So Spirit of Winter is about conversation, adaptability, darkness, deep and inner wisdom, deep ritual, endurance and resilience, hibernation and dormancy, inner work, nourishment, patience and acceptance, reflection, rest and rejuvenation, setting intentions, shelter and protection, silence and meditation, surrender, vulnerability and warmth. Okay, an archetype. Okay, so she goes on about the archetype, which I'm not going to read. I think it's a lot of information there. I'm not going to read that all for you. I think if that's something that you want to read, I think that's really important to read as part of, tarot and the archetypes. Okay, it talks about how to use the cards with cleansing your deck. Now, we know there's a lot of different ways you can cleanse your deck with intention, whether you use incense, resins, whether you use herbs or anything like that, or you use crystals, or you use a blue light, or you use a bowl of salt water beside it. Don't put your cards in salt as such, but maybe beside it. Maybe it's your visualization, maybe it's calling on the deities to cleanse and consecrate your deck. However you choose to do with it. Some people just knock it out 3 times, some people just shuffle and use that as their intention. It really depends on your own spirituality, your own beliefs, your own faith. There's no right and wrong way in how you choose to cleanse your deck. I think that's very, very personal, and I'm not going to go into a big detail there. It does talk about it. It does talk about dedicating your deck. So maybe this might be another part of your ritual that you choose to do. You dedicate it with a dedication ritual. That might be something you choose to do. And of course, if you're into that area, you'll know exactly what that is. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Now, there is a way that you can get to know your deck spread, which is quite interesting, which you can dive into if you wish to. There's a lot of interview deck spreads out there, which you could try. That's something to do that. Of course, even though it's a winter deck, you can use it at any time of the year, depending on what's important to you. So it does talk about that. So it does say, like, the Seasons of the Witch Winter Tarot is similar to the Seasons of the Witch Oracle series in the sense that it functions in the same way to any other tarot deck, and the meanings can apply to any situation no matter what time of the year you use it. The themes held within this deck might feel most relevant visually during the winter, but the energy of this deck isn't limited to just one specific season. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the dates because depending on where you are, Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere, of course, it's going to be different. If it's experiencing burnout and needs a break, thus the energy of winter can appear for you during the entire year. And when it does, this deck will be there to support you. Okay, so sometimes you may wish to consider working with this deck outside winter, include when you're feeling tired, especially spiritually and mentally, when you're seeking to reflect on a journey or after achieving a significant milestone, to embrace dark energy such as shadow work or deep rest, to build resilience during challenging times, to establish a restorative living journey, when you feel the need to be in stillness and solitude, to learn patience and trust in the divine. Now, she does talk about reversals here. For me, I believe reversals are a real personal aspect to your own tarot journey. Whether you choose to use a reversal or not is up to you. I'm not going to go into detail about that. I think that's a very personal part of your own tarot journey to find out what works for you when you do a reading, when you're doing a placement of the card in a particular position. Does it warrant using that reversal meaning or not, or do you want to turn it around and put it the right way? Personal choice again. I'm not going to go into too much detail with that. It does talk about combining tarot and oracle. Now, you could use the deck on its own, or you could choose it to use it maybe with a tarot deck, maybe Yule, or in bulk in regards to the Seasons of the Witch. Again, you could use it with any sort of witchy type oracle deck, or a plant oracle deck, or a wintry type oracle deck, maybe astrology type of oracle deck. I mean, I think you could use it with any type of oracle deck that you choose, that you feel resonates with you. Maybe it's a crystals, maybe plants, maybe it is like I said, astrology, maybe it's a particular witchy type of oracle deck of some sort. I think it's really up to you. You decide what type of oracle deck works for you. Maybe it's the same sort of colorways, maybe it's a theme, maybe it's a idea or a concept. Up to you. So yeah, I think there's lots of ways to work with this deck. Totally up to you. Now we've got card spreads. Okay, we've got the one card pull that you could do. Definitely like to do that especially when you're learning a deck and you want to dive into each card individually, and that's a great way to do it. If you're wanting to do more of looking at the surface of the cards, looking more at maybe the imagery, maybe you do a 2 or a 3 card spread. What have we got in here? They do have a 6 card reading here, with 6 cards for the winter hibernation spread, yearly shift spread for the new year. So yeah, that's sort of, oops, and I think there might be a third one there. Or ascending to spring spread. So there are 3, but there's 6 card readings. But you could do any spread that you find on Pinterest. Whether you do something like maybe you're doing the tarot prompts through Lionheart's Instagram posts, and there's other ones available there. Maybe you have a look, you Google spreads and find something that really suits you. Maybe you check out one of your other guidebooks and use something from there. Doesn't necessarily need to be from like there's a really good Crystal Alley one that I quite like, and it's the Crystal Alley cards. They do gifts and lessons with 5 sets, so there's like 10 cards in that with the gifts and lessons. So that's quite a good one to do. Maybe you want to do a medicine wheel type of or Wheel of the Year type of spread. I mean, there's so many out there. Have fun with it. Have an exploration. So let's have a look and choose one card to begin with. I just love diving into cards and really sort of, I mean, normally if I'm learning a deck, a lot of times I'll work through just the major arcanas and then work through each of the suits. But with this, I just want to choose a random card to start with, and let's dive into it. Oops, this one here is pulling out, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so we've got 9 of Winter Pentacles. And it was interesting because the Chariot came out straight away, so as well with it at the same time. So I'm going to do these two cards together as one. So we got 9 of Pentacles. Now 9 of Pentacles to me is that preparation in regards to, you know, you're moving through ready for a sense of completeness in regards to wealth or idea. There's a sense of, it can be a sense of luxury, pampering, a little bit of you know, a sense of taking care of oneself. It's an attainment, it's a gain for something. Now Pentacles to me is that health, wealth, security sort of energy, whether that's financial or whether that's within your physical body. It's a very physical, earthy energy. Okay, and then you've got the Chariot, and Chariot to me is success, victory, triumph. The sense of moving in the right direction. Maybe you feel like you've been pulled, and this is just saying to you, hey, come on, you've got to narrow your focus a little bit so you're moving in the right direction and where you want to go. You know, you could be feeling like you're being pulled in different directions with some of the Chariot. Sometimes they talk about being moved in different directions, but let's have a look and see what this imagery is. Or you're being taken through by something else. This is like feels like you're being taken by the goose or by the swan or whatever that is. We'll have a look in the imagery, see what it says in the guidebook there. You're being blown along here. There is this sense of the wind blowing you, so you're being forced to move forward in this one. Feels like there you're forced to move in the right direction. You're being guided to guide in the right direction. But let's have a look and see what it says in the guidebook here. So I want to see. This is quite nice to sort of dive into the guidebook here, the Winter Chariot. Let's have a look. A determined maiden flies away on a swing carried by swans. Okay, the swans. A nod to the fairy tale, the wild swans. One black and one white. Oh, I see the white one. It's very hard to see in the imagery. It just takes you a second to look. Okay, so you've got your black swan and your white swan, and you're swinging between, and this person is swinging between them. Okay, that's where you get the light and dark shadow, the light and shadow. Okay, representing light and shadow. The swans also represent the constant battle between the heart and the mind. At times they seek different directions, each believing its way is best. The maiden knows she cannot move forward with just one. Both are required to keep her winter chariot perfectly balanced. Notice how the maiden holds the reins, but isn't forcing them. She's connected with both mind and body, controlling them with focus, clarity, and confidence, rather than brute force and strength. Oh, I love that description of the card. Okay, as long as she keeps her eye on her goal, the swans will mirror her energy and fly in that direction, but it is challenging. The fierce winter god blows his winds as hard as he can, doing his best to knock her off course. Any distractions could be detrimental to her journey. So the divinatory meaning is, no goal or desire is without challenges. You may start off with absolute clarity only to share your plans and find you are met with opposition, doubt or skepticism. Too many dreams have died due to distraction or a failed test of your resolve. Things fell through the cracks. Here a shiny ball caught your eye. There. Criticism introduced doubt or fear, arrested you seemingly beyond repair. Your soul calls the winter chariot to a reading to say that if you have a desire, it's because you're capable of achieving it. The universe, God, Goddess, Spirit, however you address divinity, only gives an idea of what is within your power to manifest. Thus, the key takes away of this card are to have confidence in yourself and remain focused on your desired outcome. Eliminate distractions, follow your plan, be your own cheerleader, wrong with me, and be very clear about what you want before starting the journey. There will perhaps be countless obstacles to overcome, challenges that will easily blow you off course if you take your eye off the ball. But if you move forward with determination, structure, and self-discipline, you will be successful. That's a really good card. That's really cool. So let's have a look and see what it says about the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Winter Pentacles. Let's have a look. Okay. The maiden did it. She's opened her store. The hard work has paid off, and now she can sit back and enjoy herself. She's taking a much needed break, looking around and seeing how far she's come. There was a time when she would have pushed herself past exhaustion, always looking for the next task, but now she can afford to indulge the slowing down. There's still so much work to be done, but at this moment she's fully embracing the pride of a job well done and success well earned. Okay, that's kind of interesting. The most important message about this card is that you absolutely deserve any success, wealth or fame you've lately received. You've earned this positive moment of good fortune, and you should take steps to stitch this feeling of accomplishment into your spirit. This is your sign to move, speak, think, and carry yourself like someone who's made it. And no, this isn't about faking it until you make it. As you've actually arrived, you've done the work, gained confidence in your skills, stayed focused, and built a very strong foundation on which to stand. So you can splurge a little, deepen your investment in yourself. Go ahead and buy that tool, sign up for that next certification, or better still, take a vacation. Upgrade your zip code and treat yourself. Acknowledging success is really the heart of this card, but it can also appear when you're being urged to express your independence. You don't need anyone else's help right now. Look at what you've accomplished or what you've been able to overcome and understand you did it. You did that. You got yourself this far, and you don't need anyone to save or validate you. You have everything you need mentally, physically, and spiritually to keep rising. This is your call to chart your own path, knowing full well you can accomplish anything you believe you're worthy of. So for me, when I look at these two cards now, when I've looked at it, saying, hey, look, you've worked really, really hard. You've allowed yourself to move in the right direction. You've done everything you're supposed to. And now it's okay for you to take a breath. Take a moment to acknowledge that achievement, that success and that victory that you've achieved by moving in the right direction, by allowing yourself to really focus on what's important, to contemplate on what's been important for you, to be able to take action to achieve the result that you've actually wanted in your life. You've done it, and it's okay to take a break for a minute, to take a breath and go, yay, I've done it. I've achieved what I wanted to do. I've got the success. I've got the victory. I've got the triumphs. I've got this moment to really revel in it and say, okay, what's next? What can I do now to continue this moving forward in the right direction? There's still more ahead of me. I know that there's still more. There's still more that I need to do, but it's okay for me to acknowledge the success. It's okay for me to take a break, to take a breath and go, yay, I've done it. Now I can sort of think about what's next without actually doing anything. Just take a moment to relish in what you've achieved and go, okay, this is what I've achieved and I'm really excited about it and I'm okay with that. But it's also time for me to think about what's next. What do I need to do to keep up the momentum? Okay, that's really exciting. So that's it from me for now. A little bit of a look at the Seasons of the Witch, the Winter Tarot. I'm really excited to now dive into the Autumn Tarot later on, and I'm really excited to see what's next with the Seasons of the Witch Tarot. What next I'll, of course, pre-order, because I've got all the Oracle decks and I love using them at different times, and so it's really great to sort of just keep them in the background there. Okay, so take care and